Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me and you should be able to see my screen. I'm going to just flick to this one. So hopefully you can see this. This is the EverLearner.com. My name is Mike from the EverLearner. I'm just going to do a quick demo for you as a student, what you need to do to get logged on and get started on the EverLearner. So you need to head to the EverLearner.com, TheEver learner.com. It's the EverLearner.com. We don't have an app, but there is an app out there which is, I think, EverLearn or EverLearner, but that's not us. So please don't go and try and find an app on the App Store to log into this because it won't be there. We do hope to launch one at some point in the future. So you head to the EverLearner.com and you head over here to your account, the big green button just here. Your teacher will have your account details. They may have already given them to you, or you may get them after this demo. But once you have those details, head over here, head to the EverLearner.com, go to your account, big green button. Put your email address in here and your password in here, hit sign in, and that will log you on. Once you are logged on, you'll see your courses, which I'll show you in just a second, and that's already been set up for you. So all you need to do is email address, password, and hit sign in. Before I do that, just want to make you aware of this button here, forgot password. So if you are ever unsure how to get on, or you've lost your password or forgotten it, then come to the EverLearner, go to your account, hit forgot password, and that will bring you to this account support page here. Put your email address in, hit reset password, and it will send you a new password by email. So as long as you can get into your email, then you can always get onto the site. Okay, imagine I've done that. I've put my email address in and my password, I've hit sign in, and I've logged in. That's going to bring me to this page here. You can see I'm logged in as Harry. This is Harry Potter, and my school is Hogwarts. My teachers are Dumbledore, Miss McGonagall, Mr. Flitwick, etc., etc. You'll notice some of those names probably in just a minute. So I'm Harry Potter. I've got some options up here as a student for what I can do. I can go to my dashboard, which I'm not going to do right now, and I'll tell you why later. Probably what you're going to do first is go to My Courses, which is this button here. And it's going to give you a list of all of the courses which you are enrolled to, which your teacher would have enrolled you to. You don't need to worry about enrolling yourself because your teacher is going to have done that for you. There's loads of courses here because Harry Potter is signed up to lots of courses because we use this for lots of demonstrations. But you will probably only have one course if you're studying sort of GCSE sort of level. If you're studying at A level, then maybe you'll have a few more courses. You might have 3 or 4, but you're never going to have a list as long as this. It's not going to take you a long time to find your course. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to find Edexcel GCSE and I'm going to hit study now. So quick recap, you log in, you go to My Courses, find the course you want to study, hit study now. And that's going to bring you to the course page like this. There's a few things you need to be aware of. First one is that the course is broken down into chapters. So this is the first chapter, Structure and Functions of the Musculoskeletal System. Second chapter, Cardiorespiratory System. Third chapter, Aerobic and Anaerobic Effects, and so on and so on. Within the chapters, you have topics. So topic 1 is the skeleton. Topic 2 is joints. Topic 3 is muscles. And within the topic, you have your lessons, functions of the skeleton, classification of bones, structure of the skeleton. In joints, you have classification of joints, movement patterns, connective tissue, and so on. So I'm going to go down to this one here because this is a nice one to show you. This is in the movement analysis chapter. The topic is levers and the lesson is levers. The second lesson is mechanical advantage. I'm going to hit resume lesson on levers. Obviously, I haven't studied this at all yet, this mechanical advantage. So it says start learning. This one I have studied, but I'm coming back to it. So it says resume. So I hit resume and it brings me to the tutorial page like this. So this part will be quite familiar. It's just a video, just like YouTube. And we've got these options down the bottom: skip, play, skip, volume, drag the playhead across if you want to, and so on. I'm not sure if you can hear the video, but I'll just play it shortly so you can see what it looks like. You just skip a little bit. So whoever the teacher is, probably James or Marta or Ellie, they will be drawing on here, labeling diagrams, writing things, doing definitions, talking over the top of it, and giving you, obviously teaching you the lesson for levers or for whatever it is you've chosen to study. Those tutorials are going to be about 10, 12, 15 minutes long. And what you've got down here on the right-hand side is the course outline. So you can skip to any part of the course without going back to that course page that I just showed you. So you can choose, say, this chapter here, and then you can go down to the skeleton topic, and then you can choose any one of these lessons. And it tells you how long the lesson is, and it tells you how much of it you've already studied. I'll come back to that in just a second. But if you wanted, you can go down to health, fitness, and training, go into fitness testing, and study any one of these tutorials. There's how long it is, and there's how much of it I've already studied. So the whole course is available there. On the far right over here, you've got this notes option. So you can take notes right alongside the tutorial that you're watching. And the way that works is like this. If you notice where the green playhead is, let's say I play the video from here, and it's talking about, in a class 3 lever, the effort is in the middle. That's the bit that James has just taught. So if I want to, I could pause the video there. I can come over here into this box, and I can say, in a third, let's put it right, in a third class lever, the load, what did he say? Yeah, load is in the middle. And I hit save. Now what's happened is this little bookmark has appeared just above where this playhead is. And my note has been saved up here. So that note is forever bookmarked against the point in the lesson where that content was taught. So at any point, you can look through your notes and you can go back and have that teaching again if you need it. So let me just play a little bit from here. And I decide, actually, what was that thing? What was the fulcrum? I can't remember what the fulcrum was. So I can click on here, and it brings me to this point in the video now where James was teaching about fulcrum. If I want to find out what the lever arm is, I've forgotten what that is. So I click on that, and it now brings me to this point in the video where I was taught about that. So your notes are nicely organized against the video. If you click this yellow button here, which says See All Notes, it brings you a new page. And for this course, Edexcel GCSE tells me I've got 46 notes. So I can see all of the notes for that course. And then underneath that, it's got the other courses that I'm enrolled to and the notes that I've taken for those courses. So you can imagine this would be a really nice sort of glossary or a nice sort of dictionary if you were going through the tutorials. And every time you came across a keyword or a definition, you made a note of it. Then when you go to see all notes, you're going to have your own sort of personal dictionary or glossary of terms, which could be quite useful when it comes to revising for your exams. Final thing to be aware of, or final couple of things on the tutorials, is underneath this green bar, you can see this very small or very faint gray line. Then it turns black, then it's gone gray again, then black, then gray. This is tracking which parts of the video you've actually watched. So all the black bits are bits that I've skipped through, and all of the gray bits are bits that I've actually watched. So if I choose to let me pull it back here. Now I've skipped this little bit here. So when I press play again, it's going to start tracking from there. And it knows that I've skipped. It knows that I've skipped this part here. So what that means is when you look down your course list, it has an accurate percentage of how much of that you've watched. So you know if you need to go back in and just top up these little gaps to make sure that you've not missed anything. Final thing on the tutorial is you've got these two options down here. One is ask for help. And if you click that, then you can essentially message one of your teachers from right inside the tutorial. So if I want, I can go to Mr. Dumbledore and I say, "Hi, sir, I'm struggling on the difference between second," my N key is actually broken, so it doesn't really work very well, "between second and third class levers," whatever, you get the idea. And you send that, and that will go as a message to your teacher, or to Dumbledore in this case, and then they'll be able to help out with whatever you're struggling on. It could equally be, though, that you want to say, "I've nailed this, sir," or "I did this, I'm doing really well at this. Is there anything else I need to know? Can you point me in the direction of anything else? Because I'm finding this really interesting. Can you tell me what else I can learn about this topic?" if you wanted to. This button down here, finally, is report problem. So instead of going to a teacher, this message comes straight to us. So if you hit report problem, type a message to us, you could say, "There is a spelling mistake on fulcrum blah, 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 whatever you want to put there. And then we can go in and fix that nice and quickly. And you'll notice that problem, that button is, that report problem button is on every single video and every single question. So if you do find a problem, then you can let us know that way. And then we know which bit we need to fix. But hopefully you're not going to find too many problems because we've ironed out most of the issues. So let's go back to our course. Once you've watched a tutorial, you're probably going to want to go and do some study, some questions, some quizzing. So let's go on to levers. I've done the lesson. Now I've got the option for practice. And you can do any of these lessons and any of these things in any order. That's up to you. But the recommended order is to watch the tutorial, make really good notes, then go to practice, then go to test. So let's do practice next and see what it says. There's no pressure here. You take your time and use your notes to help. This is about learning, not testing. So this is a quizzing environment, but you'll notice that it's all about you learning how to answer questions rather than being tested as such. So what's going to happen here is your teacher's not going to find out much about what you did when you're in practice mode. They are only going to find out how long you spent practicing. They don't get any information about which questions you got right or wrong and how many questions you've answered or whether you used your notes or anything like that. All they see is how long you've spent. So this is a safe place for you to just come and practice and make lots of mistakes if you need to before you go into test mode. So you've got your notes here. These are the notes that we made during the levers lesson that we just looked at. So only those notes relevant to these questions are going to come up. And you haven't got a time limit, so you can spend as long as you want answering these questions. So let's have a look at some of the questions then. So this is a matching type question. Forgive me for not getting the answers right because I'm not reading them, so it'll take too long. But you drag these answers in, it will mark it for you straight away, give you your feedback, and then show you what the correct answer was. If I go next question, this is a fill in, a free type question. So what's missing from here? We've got effort, fulcrum, we're missing a load. So this one I've got correct, obviously, because it's gone green, and then it tells me the feedback down the bottom. Now, what question do we get? We've got a single choice question here, so I'm not reading it. Obviously, I got that wrong. Now it tells me in green that this was the correct answer. The one I put was incorrect, and here's my feedback, and so on. Another single choice question. We've got this type of drag and drop question where you drag the answers to fill in the sentence or the paragraph. Another single choice. There's multiple choice as well. These are coming up randomly, by the way, so I can't show you all the questions that we have. There's multiple choice where you tick more than one answer. There's questions where you have to choose the correct type of image. There's questions where you choose more than one image. There's questions where you sort things into the right order. So there's quite a few different types of questions, so hopefully that's quite interesting. Now, in practice mode, if you get 6 questions in a row correct, it's going to say to you, hey, well done. It looks like you've got the hang of this. Do you want to switch to test mode? And you can choose, yes, I'll go to test mode, or no, I'm going to stay and practice a little bit more. That's up to you. But you can also switch to test mode at any point without getting 6 questions in a row right by using this switch to test mode button here. So let's hit that, see what happens. It says you're about to start test mode. It says we'll record your score and we'll report it in your dashboard. Your teacher will be able to see it too. Are you ready? So let's say yes. Now I'm here and there's a few things which are different. I haven't got my notes anymore, so I'm on my own. I've got a time limit for each question. So for this question, I had 45 seconds, I think, or maybe 30 seconds. I've now got 15 left because it's quite a simple question. So I know it's not fourth class lever, but I'm going to put that anyway. And it tells me my feedback down there. Now, these are the same questions that I would have seen in practice mode. So if you practice a lot, then when it comes to testing, when the teacher is going to find out the number of questions that you answered and the number of questions that you got right and wrong and so on, then you're going to do better if you've spent some time in practice mode because you're going to remember the answers to these questions. That's the whole point. So quick recap then. Practice mode, teacher can't see anything. You get all the questions to answer in your own time. You've got no time limit and you've got your notes. Now I'm in test mode. I've got no notes. I've got a time limit per question and my teacher's going to see how I'm getting on. But you can come to test mode as much as you like and keep returning, keep answering as many questions as you want to. That's entirely your choice. Okay, now I'm happy here, so I'm going to exit the test. Now let's go back to the course and let's find that lesson again. So I've done this now. I've studied, I've been in practice mode, and I've been in test mode. So I'm happy with that. And let's pretend I've done mechanical advantage, and let's pretend that I've done planes and axes. I've watched the lesson, I've done practice mode, I've done test mode. So I've finished everything, all these lessons in these two topics. Now I've got this checkpoint number 6. Checkpoints are like end of unit tests. So it's going to test me on everything in levers from here, and everything in planes and axes from here. So you can imagine that on one like this one, fitness testing and health and fitness, you've got this lesson, and these 5 lessons, and this checkpoint is going to pull questions from all of those places. So let's do that one actually, because there's going to be lots of questions there. So this is a big checkpoint because I've got all of those. I think there was 7 lessons there, and you can check that by looking on here. This will tell you which lessons it is. So I'm being tested on health, fitness, and exercise, components of fitness, reasons for and limitations of fitness testing 1, 2, and 3, and fitness testing data, all in this checkpoint. So I go start checkpoint. Now it tells me I've got 40 questions to do in this checkpoint, and I'm question 1 out of 40. I've got a total of half an hour, just under half an hour now to do this test. But notice that the questions themselves aren't timed. It's just a time limit for the whole test, or the whole checkpoint. And of course, I haven't got my notes because we're stepping it up again from test mode, sorry. So what happens here then? Notice I don't know the answer because I haven't read it, but I'm going to choose my answer. I hit next, and I don't get any feedback this time. I choose my answer, I hit next. I don't know if it was right or wrong. I put my answer in here, hit next, I don't know. But what I can do is go back in checkpoint mode and change my answer. What should you do before you attempt 1 minute? It's probably a warm-up. You can go back and change this answer if you want to. So that's one of the big differences. So this is the most kind of exam-like, because you've got an overall time limit. You know how many questions you've got. You can spend as much or as little on each question as you want to. You haven't got any notes, and it's up to you to work your way through it in your own time, as long as you finish it within the time limit. So once you've done all that, you hit submit checkpoint. It's going to tell you if there's any questions you haven't answered. So if you do get this message and you don't want to leave any unanswered, then you hit cancel and you go back and go through the questions, find the one that you didn't answer. I definitely didn't answer this one, for example, and so on. So I go submit checkpoint. I'm happy that I haven't answered all the questions because I've stopped it halfway through. Submit anyway. And then I get my result. It tells me I got 2.5%, not brilliant, but of course I didn't finish it. So 2.5%. And you've got the option here to go start the next lesson. You can go back and have a look at your progress, or you can click this one, which is review answers. So this is probably the one you're going to want to do. Review the answers. And now it takes you back to that checkpoint, but now it's being marked. So I can see I put female. That's wrong because it's red, and the answer should have been male. And now I get my feedback. Next question. I put obtaining a measurement, and that was wrong. The correct answer was observation. There's my feedback. And warm up was correct. That's good. And so on and so on. So that's the idea of everything on the course. You can go tutorial, practice, test mode, and then checkpoint to test on lots of different things and lots of different lessons. Okay. That's everything on the course. Let's head to assignments next. So assignments is things that your teacher has set for you to do, work your teacher has set you to do on the site. Anything in my courses, you can go and do that in your own time as much as you want. Nothing is locked. You don't have to sort of finish all of chapter 1 before chapter 2. You can go and study anything at any time. But assignments is where your teacher is going to tell you what they would like you to study, and they're going to give you a start date and an end date within which to complete that work. So they're going to appear like this. You hit assignments, and it's going to show you, it's going to automatically have next assignments selected. You can see all of the ones which have been set in the past, but you're probably not going to need to do that very much. But just out of interest, you can see all of the assignments which have been set. Harry Potter has been busy, and he's done loads and loads and loads. Although saying that, he's missed loads and loads and loads as well. Look at this. Not very good, is it? All these ones he's missed. Naughty boy. So next assignments, this is what's going to be selected. And it tells you here how long you've got left for each of these assignments. 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. So I'm going to be busy in the next hour because I've got 4 assignments to do. And there's 4 types of assignments. One is test yourself. One is watch lesson. So test yourself is test mode, which we've just done. One is watch a lesson. One is, let's see if I can find one, upload some work. And one is there a yellow one? Take a checkpoint. So your teacher can tell you to do any one of those things. Watch some lessons, test on some questions, upload some work, or take a checkpoint. And they all come up in the different colors. So once you've got your assignment showing like this, all you need to do it, to actually do the assignment, is to click on it, and it will take you to this page where you can start. It says here, test yourself. So this is telling me I've got 1 hour left. Chapter 1 to 4 tests, that's what my teacher's called it. I have to get 80%, and I can keep taking it as many times as I want until I get 80%. I hit test yourself, and it takes me right into the test. I work my way through this test. And then if I get 80%, I can stop. And if I don't, then I'm going to carry on until I get 80%. Let's have a look at a different one. If I choose watch lesson, if your teacher sent me this, watch lesson, my teacher wants me to watch 3 respiratory lessons. So I click into here to find out a bit more. Watch 3 respiratory lessons, and it's these 3 down here. And your teacher's going to select that. So you don't have to go and find out which ones it is or spend ages looking through the site. You just look down here. Structure of respiratory system, mechanics of breathing, and gaseous exchange. I have to watch 100% and I have to make great notes. Fine. So maybe I get my notebook out. Maybe I'm making notes online like I showed you earlier. That's up to you and your teacher to decide how those notes are made. But I just press start learning, and it takes me right into those lessons I need to watch. So first up, structure of the respiratory system. Next up, mechanics of breathing over on the right-hand side here. And next up, gaseous exchange. These are the 3 that I need to do, and they're unlocked. If I choose in the assignment to try and go down here to ATP, I can't click on this because it's locked. It's not part of the assignment. So if you want to study anything at any time, you go My Courses, go to your course, find whatever you want to study. If it's an assignment, it's going to bring you to this page, and it will only let you study what your teacher has asked you to study. Okie dokie. Let's go back. That's assignments. You also have this message feature. So a little bit like WhatsApp, you can message your teachers down the side. You can message any one of these teachers. You just click on the name, type the message in here, and that will send them a message. And your teacher can message you as well, by the way. So you might find that you get little notifications up here if one of your teachers is trying to get in touch with you. And you can't message other students, just so you know that. You have to find your own way of doing that. Notifications is what it says, basically, is notification. So anything that happens on the site, you're going to be told about. Like, for example, if you're set some work, you know, if Mr. Pryor decides to set you a take checkpoint assignment, that's going to appear in here. So you can just come to notifications, click on that thing, and it will take you to it. So for example, this one here, you have been assigned to in-class checkpoint 1. So I click on that, takes me straight to the assignment. Now I've missed this one, so I can't do it. But if it wasn't missed, there would be a button here for me. It says take checkpoint, and I go and take that checkpoint. So your notifications is a bit like a to-do list. You get everything you need to do up here, and then you can just click on it and go and do that work. You'll also be notified by email of any assignments you get set, so there's no excuse for not knowing that you had work to do. Finally, there's this thing over here. Just in case you need it, if you struggle to see any aspect of the site, especially if you have any sort of visual impairments, then you can choose to change this to a high contrast or to a medium sort of contrast, which helps some people to access the site. And also you can change it from normal size to a little bit bigger font to a little bit bigger font again. So that's up to you. Most people aren't going to use that, but it might be useful if you do need to access the site in a slightly different way. And I did say finally, but there's one more thing I need to say, which is the dashboard. We haven't covered this. I'm not going to cover it today, actually, because in January, when you get back after Christmas, the dashboard is going to look completely different. And because we're rebuilding it at the moment, we're going to relaunch the new one in January. So I don't want to spend too much time there. I would much rather you stopped listening to me blabber on and go and get your login details and go and have a little play around on the site. Enjoy. Have a great afternoon. Have a lovely Christmas. See you all later.